Now, I don't care what side of the political aisle you're on. You're going to want to bookmark today's episode if you're thinking about doing a reverse green card strategy or the expat life or slow travel. Hi, everybody. I'm Doug, and this is Dying to Retire. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about the crazy residency visa paperwork. So a lot of people think you can just pack your shit up and get on an airplane and fly out somewhere and live there. Nope, you're going to have to hold your horses some. Whether you're fleeing the election results because Orange Man bad, or you're trying to seek somewhere it's cheaper to live because, like the song said, the dollar isn't worth shit anymore, or you're chasing the sun because it's colder in a witch's tit where you're at. No matter what, if you're going to be doing this, there's going to be paperwork that you're going to have to conquer to be able to get there. You're either going to do the paperwork yourself, or you're going to go with a service provider to help you with those services. Now, if you stay to the end, I might be able to save you around $500. So let's get started and let's unravel this visa residency nightmare. Now, let's talk about a couple misconceptions, a few of them. First one is people think you can hop on a plane and just suddenly fly somewhere and start living there. That's what all these influencers are wanting you to think. That's what all of these movie stars or politicians and everything, Orange Man, bad, TDS, all this other shit, say they're going to do. And they hop on the plane the next day and they film themselves for Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube flying somewhere. Doesn't happen that way. They've had stuff already in play or they're just going on vacation. The next thing, people think it's cheap and easy. And that one's very subjective. If you're Elon Musk, yeah, the shit's cheap. You and me, it's subjective. And it's really going to depend how much you're wanting to spend. That's why I'm saying stay to the end, because I possibly can save you $500. The other thing is people think it happens real fast. Nope. Now, the actual act when you get to the location with all the paperwork may go fast, but there's this whole lot of front end that we have to do, and that's what I'm going to discuss with you today in this part one. That's what you have to do. And lastly, a lot of people think you don't need to get an attorney, a lawyer. Well, here's the thing. My Spanish ain't that great. My wife's Spanish is okay, but her reading and writing is not there. We don't know all the laws in Guatemala. Therefore, it's smart to get a Latin lawyer, or for us, the Guatemalan lawyer. So what are my options? I can do a pensioner's residency or a spousal residency. Stay with me. I'm going to talk about the paperwork first that you're going to need, and at the end, I'm going to tell you which route I'm going. Now, before we get into all the documents, I want to talk about this thing called an apostille or apostille. You can pronounce it different ways, doesn't really matter. For me, I'm going to just call it the apostille or apostilled. Now, all an apostille is an official certificate that authenticates the origin of the document, the public document, making it legally valid in countries that are part of the Hague Apostille Convention. Now, there's two types of apostilles. If you have a state-issued document, it gets apostilled by the secretary of the state of the issuing document. So like if you have a birth certificate, wherever I was born in Texas, it would be the Secretary of State for Texas doing the apostilling for my document. However, if it's a federal issued document, think passport, that gets apostilled by the Department of State's Office of Authentication. So there's two routes that you have to go to get documents apostilled. So let's talk about the documents. The first thing, pretty common, your passport. Everyone's going to want a copy of your passport. Now, what is a certified copy of the passport? Well, it's a clear, high-resolution color copy of your passport that's been notarized that says, yes, this is me. That's a document you're going to have. That one, at the end of the day, when you get it apostilled, will be apostilled by the Department of State Office of Authentication. Next is your background check, the FBI background check. Now, this is a document that's detailing your criminal history or lack thereof, and that's what you want, lack thereof of a criminal history. However, to get this document, it's a multi-step process. The first part, you go on the FBI.gov website, you find the document that you're looking for, you fill it out, there's a small fee, and a couple hours later, they'll send you a document to your email that you're going to print out and take to the Postal Service. Now, you want to find a post office that does digital fingerprints because you're going to go there. And there's going to be a fee for that as well, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. but you're going to go there to get your digital fingerprints. And by that document that the FBI sent you, it has a number on there. The post office is going to punch that in, so they'll send your digital fingerprints to the FBI where they can do the background investigation. In about a week or so, you'll get the response from the FBI. Next, you need your birth certificate, and it's going to be the long form, and I really don't know the difference between the short form and long form because I've only always seen the long form. We know what the birth certificate has: your name, when you were born, what hospital, what state, your parents' full name, and that information. And again, that's another document you're going to require to be apostilled. Like I said, I was born in the state of Texas, so that needs to go to the Secretary of State of the state of Texas for the apostille. Next, now this is one of the ones, depending on which type of resident you're going to be getting. I'm going to talk about the marriage certificate. The marriage certificate, again, it's your certificate and where you got married. So we got married in Las Vegas. Yes, we went down, did the whole thing. No, it was not done by Elvis, though it was the little chapel. We could have had Elvis, but we didn't. I would have preferred Darth Vader. Just saying. So you can get that done. So I would send it to Nevada's Secretary of State to get it apostilled there versus sending it to the Department of State. So that's what I want to get there. That's if I'm doing the spousal residency. Lastly, what we have there is called the proof of income. Now, this is going to be dependent on where you get it apostilled because you can use multiple different things. It's a certified proof, that guarantees that you have a monthly income. For Guatemala, you require $1,250 in monthly income. Other countries may require more. I'm not sure if anybody else requires less, but it's all in and out there. So you're going to be looking at that. That's a document now, depending on where you get it. You get it from Social Security Administration because it's your Social Security dollars. That will be apostilled by the Office of Authentication in State Department. However, if you have a state pension or something like that one, that's a state document, you would work on that side to get it. Now let's look at this flow chart to make it a little easier. First half, you get all the documents you want. You want to make sure you have your birth certificate, your marriage certificate, proof of income, copy of your certified copy of your passport, all the stuff. So you're going to get them out. And one thing I'm going to tell you, all these folks do, they require an ASE, self-addressed stamped envelope. That way they can send back the apostilled documents to you. So if like your marriage certificate and your birth certificate, those are going to go to your state Secretary of States. And then for, like I said, the passport, your FBI background check, and for my case, because I work for the federal government, my OP proof of pension coming in, those would be all sent to the Department of State Office of Authentication. Now that goes to them, and it can take anywhere from 2 to about 5 weeks for this whole process. They're going to send it all back. And once I get everything back, that's when I lump that all together. And that's going to be in part 2 with the information I send down to my Guatemalan attorney. Next, let's look at this one. I talked about cost. And here's where I can save you $500. Overall, for me doing this all by myself, cost about $236. Now, I'm saving myself $130 to $150 because I already had a passport in hand. So that was the case. But you can see in there, the birth certificate, if you didn't already have one, you can be able to get one. It's about $23 for the state of Texas. Apostilling from Texas is $15. The marriage certificate costs $15 to get a copy of for Nevada, and then $20 for the apostilling for the state of Nevada. The background check is a little bit different on there. When you're filling out the form on the FBI website, that's $18 to do it like that, but it's $50 for the fingerprinting at the post office. And again, $20 is the State Department charge for the apostille. Now, certified copy of my passport, it cost me about $10 to get it notarized on there, and then State Department will apostille it for for $20. Then the proof of income, again, notarized $10, $20 to get it apostilled by the State Department. All in all, my mailing cost was about $15. That's me doing it by myself by getting on the computer and doing a little legwork. However, if I wanted to use a service, and I did look at these service providers, there's a big difference. If you use a service provider, and I looked at a couple, and these are the quotes I got, and here's the average out of it, it'll cost me over $800 to do this. So if I do it myself, I save $500, more than $500. Because let's look at their cost. Even if I have the birth certificate on hand already, they will charge me $275 to get it down there and get it apostilled. Marriage certificate, one of them was looking at charging me $345 to do it. And that's if I had the copy of the marriage certificate. Background check, the same thing. They were going to throw and just say, we'll get an apostille for $100. I've already paid the $68 to get the fingerprint and everything else. $100 for apostille, the Department of State's going to charge me $20? That's kind of ridiculous. And another one after that, the copy of the passport, they were going to throw that in just at cost. So that'd have been another $30. So that's how you save $500. You do it yourself, you get on the computer, you look at things, take your time. Now they will do these things to make it go faster, but you should be, in my optics, looking at this a couple months out. It takes about 2 months, month and a half for all this paperwork to go back and forth before you get it to the Latin attorney. So save yourself $500. Now, which residency I'm gonna do? Well, let's look at the options. If I do a pensioner's residency, it will give me permanent residency. I'm free to travel in and out of the country. I don't have a 90-day limit. However, I am not allowed to work. I can own a company, own a business in Guatemala. I just can't work and be on the, I just can't work. Don't fuck around, because if you get caught working, they can revoke your residency and send your ass home. A lot of people in the United States don't realize other states have immigration laws and they will stick to it, unlike what the United States has been doing for the past 4 or 5 years. So keep that in mind. Also, for the pensioners thing, I have to do annual updates. There's a fee, and I have to revalidate my proof of income every 5 years. The flip side, spousal residency. Let me look at this. Okay, spousal residency, it gives you direct permanent residency, right? When you're doing that spousal visa. However, you're gonna have to prove your marriage, hence the proof marriage certificate, and you're gonna have to annually maintain that status that you are still married. Now, there are fees. You have to pay those as well. So it's like marriage, it's until your death do you part. So you wanna keep that in mind. Which one do you want? Spousal or pensioner? I'm actually gonna do spousal. All right, let's wrap this up because you guys have been really good and I know you wanna get on with your day. What we just covered is the process up to the point where I'm going to turn everything over to my Latin attorney, and that's going to be part 2. So part 1 was about us getting our documentation all together, sending them out to the correct agencies to get them apostilled, and getting them back where you're ready to send them to the Latin attorney. Like I said, this is just part 1. This is where you guys can help me. If you're going through the process of getting apostilled, in preparation for your reverse green card strategy, or you just want to pick up and move to another country, do me a favor in the comments below. Can you put down how your experiences were? In particular, did you do a lot of this paperwork yourself, or did you rely on a service provider, or a combo of both? And let me know how it went, because hell, I may steal it and it's gonna help a lot of other people. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps with the algorithms, and it really does keep my wife off my ass. As always, I'm Doug. This is Dying to Retire, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.